Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet, voice you know with the news you trust studio, sponsored by BASF, where the performance of Altima fungicide can take your best results even farther. Well, yesterday was a hot one for those that were working outside at any time. Heat and humidity made it feel tropical. This morning, a little cooler, 74 degrees on the barn thermometer with a light breeze. Later on this morning, I'll be headed over to the Seneca County Fair, helping announce the Pee Wee Showmanship Contest, all sponsored by Ag Credit. Powered by Soy Biodiesel, Dale Minyo is back on the road. Tune in on Monday as the Axis Seed County Fair Tour continues with its next stop at the Wood County Fair. Dale will be making a check presentation to the Wood County Junior Fair Board. And tune in on Wednesday as the Ohio Field Leader Roadshow hits the road once again. We'll be traveling to Ottawa County. I'll be visiting with Sheldon Miller, talking about the growing season, the new wetlands in the area, and even tornadoes. The Ohio Field Leaders, a project of the Ohio Soybean Council and your soybean checkoff. Taking a look at your agricultural headlines, today's USDA July 1st cattle on feed report is not expected to unveil anything wild in terms of the typical three categories, that being on-feed numbers, placements, and total number of cattle marketed. But what cattlemen and traders alike will be quickly searching for when the report comes out is the quarterly data on how many heifers are on feed. It's hard to pinpoint what producers are doing in terms of herd buildback, but if the total number of heifers on feed is less than roughly 37%, then it's fair to ask the question if some light herd retention has started. Now, aside from the data that the cattle on feed report yields, cattlemen and traders alike will also be looking at the mid-year inventory report to cross-reference the data and see what the state of the beef cow herd is. The USDA will release its July 1 cattle on feed and the biannual cattle inventory report at 1 o'clock today. Let's get an update now with things going on at the Ohio State Fair with Dale Minyo.
This Ohio State Fair Open Class Livestock Show schedule update brought to you by Farm Credit Mid-America. Going on this weekend, let's start in the Beef Barn July 26th. The open shows will include all other breeds: Charolais, Key Angus, Chianina, Limousin, Maine Angus, Maine Anjou, Maine Tainer, Gelbvieh, Shorthorn, and Shorthorn Plus. Complete schedule on the breakout of that is at ohiostatefair.com. Also on the 26th, in the Dairy Barn, we'll see the Holstein heifers at 9, 11 o'clock red and white heifers, 1 o'clock the Ayrshires. The 27th will be the Holstein cows and red and white cows. Also in the Swine Barn on the 26th, it'll be the Boar Show at 3 o'clock, and the 27th at 8 a.m. is the Gilt Show. The Poultry Barn is active both 26th and 27th, with shows getting underway at 9 a.m. Also in the Sheep Barn on the 26th, it's the South Downs at 5 o'clock. The 27th, the Hampshires will own the barn. Complete schedule at ohiostatefair.com.
Thanks, Dale. As we continue to check out what's going on at the Ohio State Fair, here's an update on an interesting story with Joel Panorwood.
We're focusing on a pillar of the Ohio State Fair, the open livestock shows. This series brought to you by Farm Credit Mid-America, securing the future of rural communities in agriculture. Find out more at fcma.com. This three-parter talking with exhibitors in dairy, beef, and sheep, and we wrap up this series with a feature on sheep. Heading to western Ohio, Miami County, to the farm of Tom Wallace and family.
Primarily we show breeding sheep. I've been doing that for years. My parents did it. I've done it. My kids have done it. Last year in 4-H this year, so kind of bittersweet. Show white Romneys right now. My son has a small flock of those. Our production flock is that, purely production. We market lambs throughout the year for Muslim holidays. We got a direct meat business. We do that. And then the show sheep, that's a totally separate flock. They're bred different. There's different sires and different rams and different feed programs. So yeah, it's totally different, but it helps us remember, kind of where we came from and how we started. It's booming. We just got back from a big national show in Springfield, Illinois, this weekend, and there's a few thousand head of sheep there from all over the country, and kids everywhere, and it's a good thing right now. There's really no mediocre, show sheep out there right now being shown. Yeah. It's top notch. I would say, go to the state fair. There's 21 different breeds there you can look at and decide what you want to do. They've got a display there with all the different sheeps and their, descriptions of each one of them, kind of an educational exhibit. Find a breed you like, and then find a breeder that, and a mentor to help you through. Like I said earlier, apply for one of those starter flocks. The OSIA lead program is a good way to get. We've got a young we've got a young shepherds program as well to get involved in. So there's a lot of opportunity to get involved.
Watch the full video online today at ohioagnet.com. I'm Joel Norwood reporting.
And thanks, Joel. Let's take a look now at that Friday morning weather forecast brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com.
Not quite as hot here today. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin with a look at your Ohio Ag weather update. It's not as hot today, mostly due to the fact that we're seeing a little bit of moisture come in, a little bit of cloud cover, and moisture in the form of rain will be with us for several days. But to be clear, it's still quite muggy across the Buckeye State, and if you're seeing sunshine hang on longer, I'm looking at you, Southern Ohio, you're probably going to be still feeling quite warm this afternoon. But over the next 3 days, today, tomorrow, and Sunday, I think we have good shots at anywhere from 1/4 to 1.5, 2 inches of rain across the Buckeye State. Coverage will be about 90%. There will be some areas that just don't quite get there, but they're going to be few and far between. Going into the start of next week, Monday is mostly dry with partly sunny skies. Pop-up overnight showers Monday night into Tuesday, and then we're dry Tuesday afternoon through Wednesday and into early Thursday. Thunderstorms are back Thursday afternoon and evening before we look at a very cool, very dry weekend as the calendar flips to August. Friday the 1st, Saturday the 2nd, Sunday the 3rd. Very pleasant, very comfortable, low humidity, just a beautiful time period, especially after we get done with what we're going to be dealing with ahead of that. So look forward to that, and then we keep that dry weather around through the first week of August, at least the first half of that week, before chances bounce back up for rain and thunderstorms late the 6th through the 7th and 8th. That's the way your forecast is stacking up. I'm meteorologist Ryan Martin.
Thanks, Ryan. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more after this.
Hey, Ohio! Don't wait! The Ohio State Fair is here now through Sunday, August 3rd. Experience fair favorites like the Butter Cow, livestock animals, shopping, delicious food, exciting entertainment, thrilling rides, competitions, and so much more. Make memories that will last a lifetime at the Ohio State Fair through August 3rd. Get your tickets at ohiostatefair.com.
Joining me today is Jeff Standish. He is the Senior Biology Project Lead for BASF. Jeff, fungicides, the topic of the day, as there is a lot of discussion in the ag industry about the use of fungicides. And unfortunately, recent years we've also heard talk about fungicide resistance. I guess first off, maybe if you can, just sort of that broad overview, what is the role of applying fungicides in our crop production?
Yeah, so the role of a fungicide is to protect your investment. So by applying it preventatively, you're going to be managing diseases that can reduce yields later in the season.
So with that, I know there's a whole host of different fungicides, and they act in different ways. Maybe talk about the different modes of action and even the use of multiples.
So using BASF products kind of as an example, obviously in corn we have Valtima, and in soybean we have Revitec, both of which both products have multiple modes of action. Key to this would be the Fungicide Resistance Action Committee, or FRAC groupings, which is an easy way to tell that you have more than one on the label. So Valtima has a group 3, or demethylation inhibitor. It also has a group 11, or quinone outside inhibitor, also kind of colloquially known as a Strobi or strobilurin. And the reason why this is a good mix is because the group 11 is a respiration inhibitor, and so it is very preventive. It acts on the spores. It prevents spore germination, while the demethylation inhibitor basically gives you a little bit of flexibility, but it's able to target really hyphal growth, which would be the beginnings, or after the spore germinates, it then starts to colonize your leaf tissue, and that's where that group really hits home. With Revitec, we also have a group 7 in there, which is a succinate dehydrogenase inhibitor, or SDHI. Ours is Xemium, and that product is also very good as a respiration inhibitor, doing something very similar to what the QOI does, but not quite the same. So it acts on a different area, or a different site, rather, within the pathogen. Now, the advantage of using multiple modes of action, and I would say this is probably the more important point that I'll make here, is that basically resistant organisms exist within, or resistant isolates rather, of a pathogen exist within your field. They kind of do that naturally. Natural genetic diversity exists, and kind of hopefully unlike your soybean field or corn field, which should all be one, variety or hybrid. You have the diversity of the pathogen. And so when we apply, say, a solo product, just one active ingredient, we're going to select for isolates or organisms that are able to overcome that particular fungicide. And so when you pair different active ingredients together, like we do in our premix products, you're able to sort of hit them from 2 or 3 different angles, and it becomes less likely that you're going to have an organism that is resistant not only to the first group, but also to the second and then to the third. And so it's an advantage for disease management. You're able to, mitigate your resistance risk, which is good for product stewardship, and we'll be able to continue to spray those types of fungicides for years to come.
Again, my guest today has been Jeff Standish, Senior Biology Project Lead with BASF. We're talking about fungicides, all things dealing with resistance and different fungicide modes of action, ways that farmers can be more productive in getting through the challenges of a growing season. Jeff, thanks so much for your time today.
All right. Thank you very much.
Stay tuned. We'll be back to take a look at your markets after this.
Friday, July 25th is Recovery Ohio's Mental Health Day at the Ohio State Fair. Visit the Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services, the Department of Insurance, and other state agency booths. Join us on Friday, July 25th for Recovery Ohio's Mental Health Day at the Ohio State Fair. We'll see you there.
Well, let's get a look at your morning market analysis brought to us by the Louis Dreyfus Company. Excited to be building the newest state-of-the-art soybean crush facility in Upper Sandusky, Ohio. You can call 574-566-2113 for information on soybean marketing to LDC.
Grain markets finished the Thursday session on a mostly higher note. Now, before you get too super excited, we didn't blow anybody away to the upside, but there was some green on the screen. USDA and the Foreign Ag Service announced yesterday 135,000 metric tons of corn sold to China, 284,000 tons sold to unknown destination. The unknown corn sale is said to be Mexico. USDA confirmed that 135,000 metric tons of corn was a sale to South Korea, not China. So we sold some corn, all right? Who knows where it went? It sounds like it's Mexico and South Korea. Exporters are telling us that China has not even checked on U.S. corn and soybean offers in a while. China has not shown up as a new crop soybean import buyer at all. That goes back to all of this China trade agreement stuff that, the market's been a little bit optimistic on this week, but really can't get too super excited. Traders estimate that fund managers were buyers yesterday, 3,400 contracts of corn, 800 contracts of beans. Sellers of wheat early, but got back to even late in the day. USDA also reported on the weekly export sales report that for the week ending July 17th, we sold 26.2 million bushels of wheat. 25.3 million of that was old. Now, we did see 28.9 million bushels of new crop corn and 5.9 million bushels of old and 8.8 million bushels of new crop soybeans. I got those numbers twisted. The wheat was all new crop, of course, 26.2. It was 25.3 million bushels of old corn, 28.9 million bushels of new corn. Corn crop sales year to date are looking pretty good, about 594 million bushels above last year. Corn sales are 60 million bushels above the WASDE export forecast, but probably close enough to not have to warrant any kind of changes in the August report. Also seeing North Dakota wheat quality crop tours finishing. Yields were below last year, but well above the 5-year average across North Dakota. Not spelling a lot of good information for the wheat market. Wheat was the laggard yesterday. I'm Ryan Martin.
Thanks, Ryan. Well, let's take a look now at how your markets closed for a Thursday, brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Well, September corn closed up 3 1/4 cents, and December corn was up 3 1/4. August soybeans closed down 1 1/2 cents, while November soybeans were up 1 1/2. September Kansas City wheat closed up 5 cents, while September Chicago wheat was up 1 penny. September Minneapolis wheat was down 2 1/2 cents. Taking a look now at what's going on in the overnight trade, we find September corn trading down 1/4 penny at $4.01 1/2 cents. December corn unchanged at $4.20 3/4. August soybeans are trading up a penny at $10.05 1/4. 1/4 cent, with November new crop beans up 1 1/4 at $10.25 1/2 cent. Wheat for September is trading down 1/4 penny, $5.41 1/4 cent. This is the Ohio AgNet.